Oh, that's me.
Casey is a business development addict. He is curious about all things leadership. He loves building business, teamwork, and competing on high levels. As a founder of several companies, he takes great pride in creating well-run, profitable companies that his team enjoys working for. At New Venture Escrow, he strives to create a long-lasting impact on how they can change escrow experience for real estate agents. Send him a message if you want them to collaborate on future real estate.
Wow, that's good. Hi, everybody. Thank you. I am super grateful and honored to be at such a cool event. I'm definitely not that cool. That was a great introduction, and thank you. But the last couple of days, I've been thinking about speaking at this event. I've gone down different avenues about what I want to talk about. They gave me 15 minutes, so I hope everybody has food and drinks. I'm going to use each and every one of those minutes. I paid for a sponsorship, and this is what I get. So the first thing I thought of is like, why am I talking at this event? I'm a guy. And I thought, well, I actually run and operate a team of escrow folks. And if you do or don't know, most people in the industry are women, right? And I am fortunate enough to work with a lot of women. So initially, a couple of days ago, I started going through all the fun and quirky things about being a guy in a women's industry. And boy, did I have a lot of them. I thought, you know what? Before I give this speech, let me run this by my mom. Mom, I'm coming over. I go over, I give her 15 minutes of my best stuff. All the jokes, the quirks, the funny stories. My mom looks at me just like she did 20, 30, 40 years ago when I was a kid, and she said, if you do that, you'll end up on social media and no one will send you escrow. So, thank you, Mom. Where do I go from here? Anyway, so after that humbling experience, I decided, in all fairness and truth, I've had the unique experience of being involved in a women's industry, and I've learned a lot. And I've had the opportunity through this speech or presentation, whatever this is called, to think about it a little bit more intently. And so what I decided to do was tell a couple of stories about people, women specifically in my life, who've made a big difference for me. And I understand that these stories are unique to me. It's through my lens. It's my story, my experience. But what I would challenge everybody here today is to think about your impact that you're having. Because like guys like me, we're just not good at maybe thinking about it or even specifically talking about it. But I promise you, your impact is far greater than you realize. And we're super grateful, whether we say it or not. So first, I'd be remiss, and I mentioned her before, my mom. I remember as a young kid, my journey through leadership started when I was probably 5 and worked my way all the way through high school. We would sit down at the dinner table, her and my dad and my mom, or my sister and I. And she started asking questions. My dad would ask the typical guy questions. He was my coach all the way growing up. And he would ask, what'd you do today, right? And I would just talk about sports. Did you win? Yeah, yes or no. What'd you do in the game? What'd you score? How'd you do? But my mom started asking a lot more intent questions, more deeper questions, going deeper. The communication part of it, I started at a very young age. I didn't know what she was doing. And matter of fact, every time she'd ask me some of these questions, I'd be like, huh? What? She's like, what type of impact did you have? What did you do when you were losing? What were you thinking? And how are you getting others inspired by what you were doing? What? What are you talking about? Like, we won. She's like, no, but you were down at halftime. What did you say at halftime? How are you getting others involved? Those types of things. It never hit me what those questions meant. Well, probably up until a couple of days ago when I actually thought about it. But that was the path where I started to understand, like, leadership is more about not what you did, but what impact you're having. Like, the questions that we're asking, going deeper. I think sometimes in society, and I promise you I'm not here to preach, is we don't go deep enough. We're not asking people how things made them feel or what we could do better or, just more and better questions. And that's a journey that I'm on and will continue to go on. And she started it. So she's responsible. And I'm forever grateful for that. And I think communication, especially in the real estate world, it's something that we can all get better at. Questions, deeper questions, more meaningful questions and connections. We can all do a better job of being more intentional with that. Secondly, I want to talk a little bit about work. I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to shout out another woman in my life who is deeply, deeply important to me. And it's actually how the company started. So most of you, if not all of you, probably know her. Her name is Courtney Lewis. She's in the back of the room. I definitely want to take the opportunity to embarrass her. Okay, so in the beginning days of New Venture Escrow, she was the first person I sat down with. She was the first person I hired, and we were really excited. And I had this big vision about how we were going to do things differently. Everybody was doing it this way. We were going to do it this way. And she was like, I'm all in. Well, in the beginning days, we didn't have an office. We barely had functional internet. So we didn't have anything except a really energetic and passionate sales presentation. So in the beginning days, every contract mattered. And when I say every contract, we didn't have any. So the first couple were more important than any, right? So Courtney would call me. Usually we'd set up meetings and we'd go together because they mattered. Every meeting really, really mattered. She would call me, she goes, Case, she goes, I got a meeting, 4 o'clock. One of you gals gave us the opportunity to present what our services were gonna be. So we go 15 minutes before we would meet, we'd sit down, we go, all right, we got this. We go into the meeting, it's her relationship, she would run the meeting. She was so incredibly passionate, articulate, and the conviction she had for all the things and dreams that I had talked about. Now again, she's sitting there talking about this vision and this passion, all the great things that we're gonna do in escrow, and why if you didn't give her that contract, ooh boy, she was not gonna be happy, right? Because she actually believed in her heart. She knew she wasn't selling, she believed. And I was sitting there going, I don't know if we get this contract if I could afford your commission. And I certainly don't know if we get this contract, if the internet works, if we have people to actually satisfy the escrow. So I'm sitting over there nervous as hell. We get done with the meeting, she's like, I told you. And I was like, damn, she's good. And when I was thinking about this presentation, I was thinking, there's never been a moment where her conviction, her tenacity, her belief in what we're doing ever wavered, including at which time we didn't even have anything. So I was just so appreciative of her, of those first couple of years and days, and the journey over the last 15 has been incredible, but you taught me a lot. I'm forever grateful for that, so thank you. And what I will say to everyone here is that Courtney doesn't sell. It's incredible. You sit down next to her and she's just the most passionate human being I've ever met, is that she actually believes this to her core, that if you don't give her the escrow, that's a you problem, not a me problem. And it's okay, because if you don't give it to me today, you'll give it to me tomorrow. And I love that about her. And it's something that maybe inherently isn't in me, but something that I've learned from her. And so thank you. Okay, and last, and I promised myself I was not going to tell corny jokes about being a CEO of a company with all women, and I promise I'm not. But one of the things that I've learned is that when I started this company, I was really driven and passionate to start a company that it's not just all about performance. I wanted to be a little bit more self-aware and attuned to it's about performance, but not at the expense of mental health. I want to have a balance of life and performance. So I want to be productive, but I also want to have a life outside of the production. And so I came in, I had all the talking points, culture, team, let's go, we can perform, but we can also have fun outside of work, and we can be great in all areas. So years went by, right? And so this mantra that I had told myself, being the CEO of a company, I'm a guy, how do I relate? I think our culture is amazing, right? The people, everybody loves it. Well, what I realized through a lot of quote unquote therapy, meaning our team members coming and talking to me and giving me therapy lessons on what reality was, they said, well, when you walk around, yeah, of course everybody's gonna be good, you sign the checks, right? So I sign the checks, everybody walks around, they're like, oh, everything's great, I'm super happy, right? This is kind of years ago, so time and time again, HR, ops kept meeting with me and they were like, it could be better. It's good, but it could be better. And I was like, nah, it's pretty good. It's really good. I mean, when I walk around, people are really smiling. They are really happy. And they're like, yeah, but we're in the break room. We're in the offices. We are here, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad, but it could be better. So anyway, a couple of years ago, I decided, all right, I don't believe that, but let me hand this over to you, this project, and say, see what you got. So they come back with this kind of this presentation about how they can be better, how we can be better. Here are the things. We do this monthly chat and chew where we have breakfast and we can't talk about work, all just within each office. We have donut days. We have dress up for Halloween. We have all of these things, this calendar of events. I look at it and I go, no, this is such a waste of money, time, effort, energy. I'm like, we got to work. I go, I was talking about the culture stuff is like after 5 o'clock, you know, like go home, be with your family. Not thinking how important this was. So I said, you know what, you're probably right. And all the noise kept coming and everybody kept saying, this is really important, let's try it. So we did try it. And what happened? It went from good to great. And it's really great and it's really important. So something that if it were me, I would have never done it. If it were me, I wouldn't even go. If it were me, I just wouldn't even comprehend it. So we have this beautiful relationship of listening, understanding, asking questions, being curious. And while I am just a guy in a woman's world, I'm forever grateful that that world has opened me to so much more than I ever would have thought. And I'll leave with this. Whether you're a real estate agent, a mom, a sister, an aunt, all the other different relationships that you have in your life, I promise you, there are guys like me that are not aware enough to appreciate what we have in being next to you guys and working alongside you guys and having relationships, co-working, different experiences in life. And so from the bottom of my heart, this opportunity to talk in front of you today has made me more aware of how great the relationships I have, how appreciative of the differences that we have between male and female, and how truly, truly wonderful and grateful I am to be able to sit here and tell you a couple of my stories. And I, again, challenge you to, one, be appreciative of the things that you've done, and two, is to know that your impact is far greater than what we guys will ever admit in either personally or publicly. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.